Today I fucked up by getting horny while on a river. Throwaway for obvious reasons, and this happened yesterday not today because as soon as I got home I passed out on the couch. I, 17M, decided to go for a paddleboard ride on the river near my house. I left at about 8 o'clock not worried about it getting dark because I only expected to be out for 45 minutes tops. Me being a stupid horny teen, I thought it would be a great idea to jerk off while I was on the river. I don't get much privacy at home with my family so I figured why not since no one was around to see me way out there. So flash forward about 10 minutes, I'm finished and I'm ready to start heading home when I realize that at some point my paddle must have fallen into the river and floated away. Yes, they float, but I wasn't paying attention so the current took it along. Started to panic because the sun was starting to set and I was almost a mile away from the launch, and my service was non-existent. At this point I knew that it's gonna be pitch black pretty soon so I decided to hand paddle against the current in frigid water. It's like 45 degrees Fahrenheit this time of year, for almost a mile. After 45 minutes of hand paddling and lots of cursing under my breath, I made it back with numb hands and down a paddle. I told my parents that a big wave tipped me over and I lost it, but I owe them $50 for a new one, which is fair I guess. Too long didn't read, decided to jerk off while paddle boarding on a river and my paddle floated away, resulting in me using my hands to paddle nearly a mile in cold water. Is that what the kids are calling it now, hand paddling? Till. More of a hand job than you were expecting then. My paddle must have fallen into the river and floated away. Which sounds even more amusing when considering that in Finnish the word for paddle, mela, is also used to refer to a dick. Anyone else think hand paddles his canoe makes a pretty good euphemism? Think it works better for girls. Props to jerking off on the water, outside, when it's cold, sick. Today I fucked up by bringing a bag of spiders to my friend's house and unleashing them. So, my friend to begin with isn't a big fan of spiders. She constantly cleans her house for them. She's not got a phobia but certainly is not their biggest fan. Planned to go away for September, and she wanted to look at hotels. She hasn't got a computer/laptop so I brought mine to look for easier viewing. I never move my laptop out my room so had to search for my laptop bag. My dad had put it in our dry storage shed, no problems I thought. Brought it in, packed my laptop and all the shiz that goes with it, and went to hers. She wanted a shower before looking through hotels, so I unpacked my laptop whilst she was upstairs. That's when it happened. Hundreds of spiders spilled out, running in every direction. Zooming under the couch, table, heading for the kitchen and crawling over me. Freaking out I start stomping everywhere. Lifting the laptop lid, more spiders spill out. I'm trying not to scream, I'm humming loudly. I'm not scared of spiders on bit but the sheer amount of spiders is just overwhelming. I grab the brush from the kitchen cupboard, stepping on more spiders as I go. It was like Spider D-Day, their destination not Normandy, but my friend stares. Dealing devastating sweeps I take out groups of them and work my way across the floor. Very luckily she has light wooden floors so they were easier to spot, but disadvantage of they didn't have the terrain of the carpet to slow them down. Let's get this straight, I don't condone violence against animals. However, in the moment, it was true fight or flight. There were survivors of the battle, they scuttled away, in her shelves, under her TV stand and in the shoe rack. My friend came down, refreshed from the shower. She first noticed a couple, but they were the injured from the great sweeping, so wasn't bothered by them. As the evening progressed more appeared, but they seemed to be slower ones. I left a few hours later, and this evening she's messaged me saying she's seen a lot of spiders. I've picked up some spider spray and will round there tomorrow to hopefully get them all. I felt bad as I had no idea they were there. I mentioned to my dad about the spiders and he very casual like, oh yeah, there is a few in there, forgot to mention. I believe few was an understatement. Dr. unused laptop bag had spiders in, didn't know, brought two friends' house where they escaped. Just a couple of edits for people. I do plan on telling her. She's one of these people where if you tell her something right away / something quickly goes wrong, she goes into panic mode and will do something crazy. If you tell her a few days later, she's like, oh cool beans, we're Tevs. We met when we were 7, and have been lifelong friends since. We've seen each naked too many times not to be friends. Our friendship will certainly survive. Maybe it'll be the new friendship test. Bring a bag of spiders to your friend's house to see if they'll still like you. She'll also most likely blame her boyfriend who works as a tree surgeon, as he's always bringing weird insects home with him. The dry shed, as I call it, is a storage room attached to the garage. It's not an official room as it's a wooden add-on. My dad is a mechanic / farm worker. Anything important that's electrical gets put in that room. I'd asked him to put my laptop bag somewhere safe, so I did presume the attic. However, in his infinite wisdom, he thought that place would be better. My laptop bag is one that has pouches to slip it in. You don't need to fully open it to let the laptop in, hence why I didn't notice anything. I haven't brought it back in the house. Will thoroughly wash it and probably find a place in my room. We had a situation at my place where flies had their eggs close to the front door. Once they became full grown, they formed a huge swarm and started flying in front of the door. I kept swatting them, but then more would somehow come in and I spent the next 2 fucking hours swatting to try and get rid of them. I would say that I probably swatted and killed 100 fat flies. God, that was annoying. We always get flies in the house. Because current dogs are useless when it comes to catching the pesky sky raisins, I got us a bug zapper racket. Now I get all excited and maniacal when one gets in the house. Zap spiders though? I have several pet tarantulas, and they're cool. Free-range spiders in the house generally meet the bottom of a shoe. There are way too many to worry about saving them all. Oh, except for jumping spiders. They get a pass since they're adorable. If they were in there with a computer ID, clear your browser history. From what I hear, they know their way around the web. My GF names her house spiders. One of them is named Abraham. I almost killed Abraham a year ago and my ears are still ringing. Alternative title: today I tested the very fabric of a friendship. I haven't even read it yet, but no matter what, based on the title, yeah, you fucked up. Edit: yeah, you fucked up, ha ha ha. Today I fucked up by feeling up, touching my sister-in-law's butt. My sil is 6 years older than my wife. Both my wife and my sil are about the same height and weight. My sil has a bit bigger butts and legs, however. We were born in a closed-minded country. Women, sexuality and basically many things were oppressed. My wife and I are really open-minded and not religious. My sister-in-law is also open-minded, not like us however, and not religious. However, her husband is not as open-minded as us. Because of our culture, he is jealous and wants to always honor / control her women. I mean, he does not like when my sil wears short skirts or a bit revealing clothes, in his mind, but he can't say anything. We're now living in Europe, so his mind a bit more open, but old habits die hard. My wife and she can usually borrow each other clothes or shoes when something happens, like getting wet or dirty. One time they were shopping together and they bought exactly the same dress. They have arranged to check and not to wear them at the same time. About 2 months passed and they have never wore it at the same time. It was my wife's favorite dress, however I didn't see my sil wear that often. One time only I saw. So this happened last week. They were our guests. My wife wore the same dress and when they arrived, we saw that my sil also wore that dress. So my wife go and change. I am drinking beer, it was my 4th, and am a bit tipsy. My sil and her husband does not drink. Lunch is finished, we want to move to the couch. I take some of the things to the kitchen to clean up a bit, and I see my wife coming to help me. We are used to fool around when we are alone. Me spanking her butt or feeling her up. She kissing me, lightly grab my penis. So we are alone in the kitchen when I feel her up under dress and grab her ass. Wait a minute, it feels different. I figured it is my sil and not my wife. It happened in 1 or 2 seconds. I removed my hand, apologized. My face was on fire, I don't know if it was obvious. She could tell I honestly made a mistake, smiled and said that's okay, and she knew it was a mistake. I got back in the living room, terrified of what happens if he tells her husband. Everyone could see something was off with me. However, when my sil came, she acted super cool and normal. I hated the thought having to argue with her husband. After a week nothing happened, so I am in clear. Too long didn't read. My sil wore a dress my wife supposed to wear. I was a bit drunk and felt her up under dress thinking she was my wife. Edit. Thanks guys for so many upvotes. Did not imagine it get this reaction. Since so many people asked, yes, I told my wife. He was not happy I made this mistake, mostly because of Sil's husband, but it was not a big deal to her as she knew it was an honest mistake. Edit 2, for all I know, I don't know if Sil's husband knows or not, or to what extent he knows. Maybe he knows all but just didn't say anything because of cultural thing, and since it happened in kitchen where only two of us were preset, the opportunity of laughing about it is completely gone. It is like pretending it never happened. Last edit, as many of you figured out, English is not my first language. I have made some mistakes before, only that I know that I was talking to my wife instead my sil was standing beside me. I have never meant for it to be sexy, and thinking of it is disgusting and the people suggesting it are no better. Sorry. It is supposed to be embarrassing and funny, not sexy. I made this account early last week after it happened, cause it was funny and thought I could share it. Maybe handful of people laugh about it. Never imagined get 215 like and so many karmas. The real question is, did you tell your wife though? Yes, I did tell her after they left. She was not happy about it, but it was not a big deal also. I feel like if the relationship between your wife and sister is healthy they can both laugh it off. I saw my father-in-law do this to his wife's sister once while we were on a family trip and the whole family was laughing to tears. If my husband or sister husband did it to either of us again we'd laugh. Cultural difference comes into play but it was an honest mistake so I'm sure it's fine. Editing to add that in the future the correct, and hilarious, response is to pretend to gag and be disgusted by accidentally touching your sil's butt to either confirm it was a total mistake or to get further laughter about it. Teehee. It's okay bro-in-law, it's a mistake. Smile. Bro-in-law or woo. I'm stuck in the washer. Worst porno I read this week. Step 1. Today I fucked up. Step 2. Gone wild stories. Joking aside, did you tell your wife? She'll probably laugh, and it'll be better to hear it from you than from the sil.